What can you expect from Garrett Riley's offense now going to be in Clemson, South Carolina? Everybody knows what he did at TCU. Everybody knows the on-field product. Scored right around 40 points a game, had a phenomenal showing against Michigan. Everybody knows he can coach, but what are you going to be looking at? Let's explain the concepts just a little bit as to what you're going to see and the advantages it presents for Garrett Riley's current offense. The first thing, they're going to play in space. Now, what does that mean? What does that look like? It looks like a lot of zone runs, and it looks like a lot of getting the football out to the perimeter in terms of bubble screens and just quick throws to your outlet on the outside. And what that does for you, starting with the bubble screens and the quick throws, if you will, on the outside, that allows your speed to be in space. When you have fast guys, when you got guys that can absolutely roll, you get them the rock and get them a lot of green grass to work with. And when you put it on the perimeter, if you have the blocking set up correctly, whether it's a tight end out there with them or whether it's a receiver out there with the other receiver who's catching the pass, you have some real estate. You're not in there with the trenches. You're not in there with the big boys trying to mix it up. You probably have one or two guys to beat. You probably have one or two guys to account for that blocking scheme, and you're going to let them cook on the outside. Okay, so getting your talent, your speed out there on the edge, give them some room to work, baby. The zone run scheme, I think, is very interesting. It's a staple of this offense, and what we saw against Michigan, I think, is the best example of this. Because Michigan, from a matchup standpoint, had the physical edge, right? They were bigger. Were they faster? Maybe that's a wash, but they had the opportunity to impose their will. And so TCU, as opposed to saying, hey, we're just going to run power at you, we're going to try and out bully you at your own game, that wasn't what TCU did. That's not what Clemson's going to do. They're going to be water, my friend, like Bruce Lee, and they're going to essentially take what you're trying to do and use it against you. So what you saw them do was Michigan pushes the line really hard one way. TCU, Garrett Riley's offense, they say, okay, you want to go left? We'll take you left. Our running back's going to roll left and cut back right across it. It's not going to be man block man. It's going to be man block an area, and if someone comes in your area, you just push them out. You just take them where they want to go. And so the reason why that's helpful is it doesn't force you to have the physical edge like we saw with Garrett Riley against Michigan. It's not going to be a thing where we have to have 300-plus pound linemen that are going to be able to just absolutely push you against your will wherever you want to go. No, we're going to play our game. We're going to play in space, and we're going to play to a degree that complements our skill set. We're not trying to play with your skill set. We're trying to do what we do and go from there. If you're not yet subscribed, we got a lot to talk about, y'all. Would love to have you at the party. We've got content coming for you every single day. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're locked in. We've got content coming for you, like I said, 12 months out of the year, as college football is a sport that goes 12 months out of the year. So we appreciate you in advance for that. Also, follow me on the social channels at JD Pickell on Twitter and also on Instagram. So thank you for that. Lincoln Riley's offense is very similar to his little brother, Garrett Riley's offense, who is now the offensive coordinator at Clemson. Like we said, the best way I could describe that is it's going to be like an air raid principle with run game staples. So like I said, the inside zone is going to be a part of it. I think some counter will be a part of it. Those are things you'll see a lot of. But the thing that you'll notice about TCU last year, they ran a lot of plays. Explosive play happens, we're right back to the line, inside zone. We're trying to wear out the defense. So when you're watching a Clemson football game, you're going to see a lot of plays. You're going to see them get up to the line quick. And what this does, like I said, wears out the defense. You're getting tired. You can't sub personnel-wise because if we don't sub as an offense at Clemson, you can't sub your defense. So if we get something we like out there, we can run 5 plays in a row. Your linebacker's huffing and puffing, and he's trying to get his win. Too late. Another play's gotten run. Will Shipley, 30 yards, touchdown. That's the kind of attrition it could wear. That's the kind of impact it can have on your defense. Now, that's one piece, is it can wear you out. But what happens when you get worn out? You lack discipline. And within Garrett Riley's offense, you're going to see a lot of motions, a lot of jet motions, which is just football verbiage for we're taking one of our receivers, we're running them across the formation, and we're going to snap the football, fake it to him. He goes across, cool. Give it to the running back, or we'll have a pass concept off of it. You'll just see a lot of motion across the formation is what I'm trying to tell you. That'll mess with the eyes of the linebacker. And so it's hard enough to keep track of a motion when it goes from one side to the other. If it's a fast dude running, it is even more difficult to track a motion and stay assignment sound when I've been on the field for 4 plays and it's the 4th play you're running in a matter of a minute and a half. I'm probably exhausted. And so when I get undisciplined, the offense can just do what they want to do. I'm just giving into my instincts then. I'm trusting my eyes. Okay, I'm running with that motion. Too bad. We're throwing a slant right past you. I'm staying put. Okay, we're giving the motion, and he's going to take it around the edge, and we got a cool 10 yards, maybe more. That's the kind of cat and mouse game this game can play with you. Now, I talked to some folks at TCU, and they were very, very positive in their reviews of Garrett Riley. Said he's a guy who, yes, there's some obviously, advantages they're trying to gain with misdirection and things they're trying to do to put the offense in position to succeed that confuse the defense, but they're not trying to trick you. They're not trying to be confusing. They're trying to put one guy in conflict, make him choose, and have an answer for whatever it is. Much like the RPO system, the run-pass option. You want to try and play the run, got a pass coming right behind you. You want to stay patient and sit back there and wait for us to try and throw it at you? Well, too late. Will Shipley already got 7 yards. Cade Klubnik already pulled it. He's around the edge for another 7 yards. Just plays like that cause your defense to get so frustrated when you don't have answers. Whatever you do, you're wrong. That's the Garrett Riley unofficial motto that we'll have on this show going forward. So lastly, they're going to dial it up. Like all I'm talking about with how much they're trying to still impose their will. Running the football, Kendre Miller for TCU had over 1,000 yards last year. How they're trying to do things with the quick game and get it out to their athletes in space. I mean, watch the tape. Darius Davis went to work. Tay Barber went to work last year for TCU. Those slot receivers, I would anticipate Antonio Williams to be that kind of guy for Clemson this coming year in Garrett Riley's offense. But they're going to take their shots. And Clemson and TCU both have a similar flavor on the outside in terms of big body wide receivers who can go win jump balls for you. I think you're going to see a lot of that. And Clemson's going to create those matchups with what they do in those other 2 areas I talked about, with running the football and causing the defense to have to rally up quickly with the quick game they're going to impose. When you get one-on-one on the outside, Cade Klubnik's going to take some shots because Garrett Riley is telling him to. He's telling him we're going to let our big guys work. We're going to give our receivers a chance. And as a result, you saw what happened last year. They scored a whole lot of points, almost 40 a game. They were number 18 in the country in terms of yards per pass, 8.3. Translation, they're going to try and stretch the field vertically. And that's something that I think would be very much so welcomed by the good folks in Clemson, South Carolina, because as much talent as you have on your team, I think we're a little bit eager to see some more explosive plays. This upcoming year at Clemson, South Carolina, with Garrett Riley calling the show, if you don't have explosive plays, it won't be for a lack of trying. It won't be for a lack of let's see if we can't stretch the field and make these defensive backs pay. So for Garrett Riley, I believe it was a home run hire. This offense is going to be very exciting to watch. It's going to be playing in space, inside zone. Yes, get it out to your receivers on the edge. Let them work. Let fast people be fast. How hard is that? We're going to play with tempo. We're going to run a lot of plays, and you're going to be worn out because of it. Advantage us every single time. Whether we're just imposing our will because you're so tired or because we're tricking you, because you're lacking discipline, because you got tired. Hear what I'm saying? And then finally, they're going to take some shots, man. They're going to stretch the field. Cade Klubnik, one of the most talented young quarterbacks in this entire game, they're going to let him cook. Garrett Riley's going to let that guy sling it around the yard, man. My, oh my. Going to be a lot of fun. This has been The Hard Count. Nick, Bright, Lift, and Heavy. This is your show. Make sure you're subscribed. We're live on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. Come hang out. Have a good time. We're talking the greatest sport in the world. And it's a community that y'all have created. So thank you. We're going to keep the party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.